What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers Weekly Tech Podcast. This is episode 364, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something that gives us a little kickback and keeps the podcast ongoing, with me is my co-host Ryan. What's going on?
Not much. Just ready to do our
thing. I just realized that I didn't hit the record button.
Whoops. Oh yeah, I see that. You can't start it.
You can't start it once you start it.
What?
Yeah. So we won't have a good version of this podcast. I guess we'll have to pull it from YouTube if we want to clip it, which is
whoops.
Yeah. But
lower quality.
Yeah, a little lower quality. But yeah, it's another Wednesday. We're back. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of reviews going on. How's the
a lot of stories?
How's the weather in Wichita? I actually saw this thing, and I was going to send it to you, that they said Wichita is like the #1 city to retire, or I was something like that. I saw on Twitter.
Okay. Well, we're also like the #1 worst place for allergies in the nation.
I'm definitely not moving there. This is what I mean. I look pretty. I can barely open my eyes as it is, but if I lived there, I'd be like this.
So yeah, that's bad. But yeah, I think it's like we have a good, as far as like the retirement thing goes, like cost of living is here.
Yeah, the cost, it was like cost of living and blah blah blah. And then somebody I was gonna send you the comments that was like, don't tell, like, if somebody was like, if you want to move to Wichita, you're crazy or something. I was gonna send you it or whatever. I think it was because I think it was like KTLA, which is like LA's like
big one,
big whatever. I follow them on Twitter. And it was because like the cost of living here is like steadily increasing. So it's steadily increasing.
Yeah, weather-wise, we've been in like essentially a drought for quite a while. It hadn't rained forever, but it finally rained a bit this weekend, which was really nice. So hasn't gotten too hot. It's been pretty seasonable like the last couple days. It was really hot for a while. Then kind of cooled off. So
Nice. It's actually cold here today, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was making fun of you because you have on your Corsair zip-up jacket. And
this is like one of my favorite hoodies.
I know. I'm so jealous of it because I didn't get one.
You didn't get one?
No, I wasn't there for that. I think that was like my first CES year. Okay. It was either my first CES year and I missed Corsair that year because I came a day late, or it was an event that you went to that I didn't.
Gotcha. So,
yeah. Either way.
Yeah, no, this is nice. And this is like, so we get all this swag a lot of times at CES, and you get stuff and it's just like the t-shirts are kind of made kind of crappy for the most part, unless it's like a certain brand that actually like cares about their like stuff. But this hoodie has lasted for like 4 or 5 years, and it's really, really nice too. Like Corsair did a good job on this one, because I have like so many awesome like swag, like either sweatshirts or t-shirts that like they fade within like a year, and you're like, I really want to wear this thing, but it's just they fall apart. So this is actually a nice one. But yeah, we'll move on to, of course, what you guys are all here for, which is tech stuff. We do have our full show notes page that is right here. That's going to have everything that we're going to be talking about this week. So you can go ahead and follow along if you want to. We're going to start off with reviews, and I took a look at a really cool mouse, and I actually have it right here. So this is the Mountain Makalu. I always want to call it Makalu, but I think it's Makalu Max. So if you guys don't remember Mountain, they're the company that had the keyboard that it had the detachable number pad, and you could move the number pad from one side to the other. And I believe that number pad had like 4 OLED screens in it too. So it was kind of like a
Stream Deck.
I almost kind of call it a Steam Deck. So yeah, Stream Deck, but like pretty primitive. It came out a little while ago. And then they had their Makalu 67, which was a lightweight mouse. I reviewed that and I really liked it. And this is like a complete departure from the lightweight. Like this thing is big. So 99 grams. So not
okay.
But it has a lot of like really old school features, right? So one of the old school features that I'm sure you'll like is that we have these 3 rings right here, and these are like a weight system. So you have these 3 rings, and what you do is on the back of the mouse here, you can just like slide them in, and then obviously you change the weight of the mouse. And like I remember like one of my first mice had like the weight system you could adjust to what you wanted. So I think a lot of people kind of miss that, because again, I think we've gone really to the lightweight, which a lot of people, myself included, really, really like, but it doesn't give as many options to the people who want weight systems. So each one of these rings is a different weight, so you can adjust. Another thing that I was a bit bummed out is you see that circle there, that it can only do 1 ring, so you can't stack these rings.
You can't stack them. Okay.
You can't stack the rings inside there. So you have that. Also, both sides of the mouse, and I think this is something you might like because I know you like to put your grips on the sides. So both of these sides are removable, so I can take it off. It's just a magnet that holds it on. So, and then
it has cutouts for then the buttons.
Yeah, it has cutouts for the buttons, so you don't have to worry about that. So I can put this one on, and you can go ahead and see that. Yeah, no, old man. So old man, no, you can leave it up. Right. Old man in the chat said the link in the Makalu Max review went to the Razer mouse. Yeah, I fixed it, but thanks for he told me that last night.
Okay.
But yeah, so you have this. I'll put it this way so it's better to see. So you have a wider side here. So, and it has a really nice finish. It has like this rubberized texture to it. So, and it gives you like a real thumb grip. So when you're sorry, it's so hard to do this. So when you're holding the mouse, it gives you that thumb grip right here on the side. So
and it adds another track or another pad underneath too.
Yeah,
right?
It adds another like a mouse foot, if you want to call it that. But yeah, you have that. So you can do that one, but you can also remove the opposite side. So I've taken the opposite side off, and you get this one, which really makes this mouse like massive. So with the second one on, look how big this mouse gets.
Yeah, the thing's it's wide.
Yeah, so this gives you basically another rest over here for both your like last 2 fingers. Really ergonomically sound, right? So that's like the whole reason. But yeah, so tons of customization. The one thing I do like about this is that people are like, oh, I don't want this big mouse, right? I want a gaming mouse. Well, I can take both sides off. That's my gaming kind of centric mouse, but maybe I'm doing like video editing or CAD work or something like that, and I can put the sides on where it's more like ergonomically sound, a little bit more comfortable for like, because I'm not going super fast back and forth across the mouse pad like I do when I'm gaming. So like I said, I think this mouse is really cool, and it's completely wireless. I didn't mention it has a 2.4 gigahertz dongle here as well, and their software is great. It works really well. We have a video on the YouTube, like old man said, that I didn't link to the review initially. But yeah, it's a good mouse, and it's only $89.99. If you think about some like the Razer mice that we reviewed in the past, that are well over $100, and a lot of other mice that are well over $100. This one is $89.99, which I think is a really good deal. And then on top of that, like I said, it can be like some people do buy a mouse strictly for gaming, and then they have another mouse for their design work or just daily tasks. This is this is essentially 2 mice. It could technically be 3 if you had a use for maybe one of the side grips, and then you use the other side grip for another use that you would have per se. But I think, like I said, it is a good mouse, highly customizable. kind of like I said, it gave me the old school feels, which I definitely like.
The weights, it brings it back to that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, the weights in both of the side pieces, easy to remove and put back on. Like it's all super simple. Didn't really run into any issues with this. The only slight issue that I had is it's so hard to show you guys. The little sniper button that's right there, it was slightly harder to press. I know that they are a little bit harder to press, but I wish they would have moved it back just slightly. That's the only thing that
I have to reach to get it.
Yeah, I had to reach slightly, not a lot, but it would have been nice to just bring it back just a little bit. But overall, like I said, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's available, like I said, for $89.99. So definitely check that one out. What mouse are you using these days?
That's 2 wireless.
Okay, yeah, that's the new one. Okay, and you put grips on both sides.
I did. Yep, both sides.
Could you use a mouse so like I have the Razer, like I don't have any grips on this. Could you use a mouse?
It's just straight plastic.
Yeah.
Does it have any texture to it?
No,
I wouldn't like it because I used this initially. I used this without the grips, right, for my review, and I don't like the feel of it. So it's
okay.
Nope.
Gotcha.
But I like, there was a mouse I used to use back in the day. It was it wasn't a gaming mouse, but it was like one of my first mice that I had before gaming mice were even really like
an Intelli mouse, like a Microsoft Intelli.
It wasn't an Intelli mouse. It was a Logitech, just a 2-button, no thumb buttons or anything. And it was just a plastic bodied mouse with nothing. And I used it for years and years. But now that I've gotten used to a little bit of grip on the sides, yeah, that's the way
because I had the Razer Viper Ultimate, which had like a rubberized texture on the side, but it is maybe like it's only like 10 grams, maybe or 15 grams heavier than this. But it's like I want to go as light as I can when it comes to gaming. I want to be super, super light. So yeah, like I said, guys, check that review out. It was, like I said, it was fun checking that one out and gave me those old school mouse feels, which is definitely a good thing. I also took a look at some memory. I have it right here. This is Patriot's Viper Venom DDR5. Now, I already reviewed an RGB version of this. This is non-RGB. So the non-RGB just says Viper up there. So if you're not a fan of RGB, you can get these in RGB and non-RGB. The thing that's new about these is that these are super high performance. So the kit that we have is 7200 megahertz, which makes it super fast, right? Some of the fastest memory you're going to get out there. And the reason that Patriot's able to achieve that is that this stuff, what's it called? Uses SK Hynix A-die chip. So these are think of them as highly bin, you get those highly bin CPUs that you can overclock. This is highly bin memory chips that can achieve very high frequencies. So that's kind of where these come in. So when this memory first came out, that stuff really wasn't all that available. Now it is. So now you can, go ahead and get super fast memory. Now I have to say that you will need the latest hardware to support this, right? You will need, at least in my testing, I tried to run this on a 12900K and a Z690 motherboard. It would not run. Then I got a 13900K and a Z790 motherboard, and I was able to run it. And again, this is even when Z790 first came out, you definitely need to update your BIOS as well. So just keep that in mind. But if you have anything below a 13900K, I would not suggest getting memory this high. Even something in the 13th generation, like a 13, what is it, 700K or whatever it is, it has to be the highest one, or this stuff just, at least currently, will not run. But overall, this is the fastest memory that we've ever tested, right? It is super, super fast. Basically performed the best in all of our testing. I think it looks pretty good too for non-RGB memory. It has the black and kind of silver looking heat spreader here. And I did notice is that when you pick this up, it's decently heavy compared to, some other DDR5 that I've tested. So it just, I guess it kind of shows that they are using at least a little bit beefier heat spreaders, which of course
yeah.
is going to keep things, just a little bit cooler there. So that's definitely nice to see there as well. But yeah, like in our testing, I mean, oops, that's overclocking. Actually, we were able to overclock this too, which I'll talk about. But in our testing, I mean, it's like the fastest stuff that we've tested. The closest other memory that we've tested was 6600, so that's even a much bigger jump over that as well. So yeah, so this is really, really good stuff. Like I said, the only caveat is that you will need hardware that's going to support this high. Like I said, I was able to overclock this, so I was actually able to get this to run at what is it, 7466, which when you're running this high already, that is definitely definitely pretty awesome that I was even able to push this more than this. I've had DDR5 kits that just wouldn't go at all. They wouldn't go anywhere. And the fact that I'm already running at 7200 megahertz, I can get up to 7466. Yeah. I was, like I said, I was really impressed with this memory. It is super, super fast, and it's not all that expensive either. You would think. I mean, it's $149.99 for a 32 gigabyte kit.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's
memory, especially DDR4, is super affordable right now.
Yeah, it is.
I was looking at some upgrading my memory to a little faster speeds, and like for a whole set of 64 gigs, like I could get like what I paid for 32 gigs, I can get 64 gigs now essentially, and faster speeds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, prices have been coming down on this stuff, so it's definitely nice to see. But I gave it a 9 out of 10. Like I said, it's just you need the fastest hardware for this to run. You're not going to. I had one of the best Z690 boards out there, like an ASUS ROG Maximus board, or was it? Yeah, Maximus. And that's known to support like super fast memory, and it just wouldn't. It wouldn't do it. And I was kind of surprised. And our friend Shannon, who works at Patriot, he was actually surprised. We were running a ton of tests to try to get it to work, and it just wasn't going. So yeah, you just make sure you have a 13900K Z790 motherboard, and you'll be good. And make sure if you do get this kit and you do have that, make sure your BIOS is updated to the latest one, because some of the early BIOSes, maybe the one that is going to ship if you're buying stuff new that hasn't been updated, it may not support the memory yet. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, check that out. And then Ryan took a look at a keyboard. I don't know if you want to bring it up or if you just want to show us.
I can share.
Yeah,
whichever. Let me share screen. Cool. Yeah, so I took a look at the Cooler Master CK720. It's a 65% gaming keyboard, and it looks and feels essentially just like the CK721 that I reviewed not too long ago. The 721 was a multi-mode wireless keyboard, so it had like a 2.4 gigahertz dongle as well as Bluetooth and obviously wired connectivity. This is a wired keyboard though, so no wireless connectivity here, but they've made some really awesome, I'm going to say, adjustments and improvements. Not that they're the exact same like feature set, right? Because one of them is that wireless setup, whereas this is wired, but they're same form factor and very, very many similar features. But this one's more towards like higher end features and customer base, right? So we've got PBT keycaps that are double shot, which is nice, a nice change from the ABS that came with the CK721. But we'll get to some of those features here in a second. But some of the cool things that this comes with is a keycap puller, which pretty much any mechanical keyboard you get nowadays is going to have. But it also comes with a switch puller, because this keyboard supports hot swappable switches, which is really nice. So the fact that they include that tool in there makes it much easier to remove those switches and get them installed back in. Also comes with a standard USB Type-C cable. I would have really liked to see a braided cable with this as opposed to the rubber one, because the CK721 came with a braided cable. This comes with a rubber cable. they're going more towards that enthusiast, like custom keyboard design with this. I think just that little tweak would have been a nice improvement.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Would have been cool to see. But yeah, we've got a 65% design here. So we've got a little bit of a shrunken, right shift key here. We've got a nice dial in the top right, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then just a couple other, delete, page up, page down along the side of the keyboard. This keyboard comes in two colorways. There's a gray version and the white version. I got the white version, which has kind of this silver top to it. It's an aluminum top that can actually come off of the keyboard, so you can swap it out with another colored design. Cooler Master is supposed to be coming out with some new designs for this, which I think is kind of a cool feature, right? Like if they have a partnership with maybe a game like Fortnite or Apex or something, right? You could swap out that top plate to a custom design. The bad thing is it's kind of hard to remove this top plate. They've got a little hidden door on the side. We'll just skip down and come back up. But this little door here pops off, and then you can remove the top plate of the keyboard. Where did my picture go here? I may not have. Oh, I forgot to put a picture in there. Maybe I'll adjust this. But anyhow, that comes off. You can customize it. It's kind of a cool feature there.
Yeah, the thing that would have been cool too is like if you do take it off, if you wanted to take it off, you could if you had like a laser engraver machine, or
Sure.
if if you did want to paint it or any of those type of things, you could do that, which I think is cool.
Yep, it's machined aluminum. Yeah, that's actually a really cool idea. Like if you had a laser engraver to like get a nice scroll work or design onto this aluminum, that would look pretty sweet. But yeah, this little knob here by default is a volume knob, right? You can click it down to mute your audio, but you can adjust its function within Cooler Master's software. So I think that's a kind of a cool feature that they've added on here. Double shot PBT keycaps. They do have, since they're double shot, you're going to get the light that comes through the keycaps. But they also have some painted on legends on a lot of the fronts of the keycaps. There's some like media controls that you can see on there, lighting controls, things like that. That way you don't have to remember all of those keystrokes or go to software to do that. You can make some of those adjustments right on the keyboard itself. Old Man says he likes the way the keycaps are backlit. It's easy to see even if you turn the backlit down low. Yeah, I agree. It's a good looking keyboard and looks great with it lit up. Another nice thing that Cooler Master has upgraded with this keyboard is they've moved to Kale switches, specifically the Box V2 switches. And my review sample came with browns. So that's a tactile type switch. So kind of like a blue, but without the clicky sound. So you get that bump, but the lower sound. No, and I see you shaking your head there.
I'm a fan of blues, but I do like browns. I do like browns a lot.
They're my second favorite, probably overall switch type. I like reds the most, browns the second for just like all around general like gaming and typing use. I really love low profile blues just for typing. I don't like them for gaming, so browns are kind of my second favorite. But they're a switch that doesn't have an LED in them, so all your RGB LED lighting is coming from the board itself, but the switches have a pass through so that the lighting comes through to your keycaps. And you can kind of see this like Cooler Master purple material here in between the this white top plate and the body of the keyboard, and that's because Cooler Master has put in 2 silicone dampening pads in this keyboard to just add that. If you've ever seen or used a really nice mechanical keyboard, they just sound so much better than a normal gaming keyboard. They just have this like rich click sound. I don't know how to explain it. It's something you have to experience. I've got an audio sample in the review of this keyboard, but it's just a satisfying.
Can you put your keyboard? Sound. Can you put your keyboard up to the mic?
I can, but I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast to cut out outside sound, so it wouldn't pick it up. But yes, there is an audio sample in the review where you can hear it. But it's just good. It's that combination of like, and the other thing is these switches are pre-lubed from the factory. So they're like a smooth motion, and it kind of dampens some of the sound as well. As you've got a little bit of a lubricant in between the components of the switch that dampens some of that sound as well. So it's like multiple components just leading to this like chunky, awesome sounding keyboard. That's
and you're still using it now. That means you like it.
Yes, yeah, I've got it as my I just dumped water and it sprayed on my face.
Do you need me to take over while you?
Yeah, you want to take over for just a second?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep on talking about your keyboard.
We'll do it live. All right, I gotta go find some
Yeah.
paper towels. I'll be right back.
As Ryan breaks his it goes all over. It's just like that scene where like so it spills and then it gets into the computer and then we'll see his camera just start fading out. I've actually done that before where I've spilled and I've ruined I think I've only ruined a keyboard. I don't think I've ever ruined my PC doing it. But yeah, I saw that keyboard. I'm a huge fan of 65%. If you haven't used 65%, it is unless you're somebody who really needs something like the like extra keys on the side, 65% is excellent, and 65% is going to look the best on your desk. It just is like it is one of my favorites. And Old Man was talking about the lighting. Ryan has some pictures of that in the review as well. So here's some of the lighting. It does look really, really good. It's pretty cool that it's coming from the board, as Ryan said, not the actual switches, which I actually kind of like.
Right, and they include 6, and it's kind of funny because the switches that come with the keyboard are the KL switches, but they include 8 Cherry MX green switches. So it's just funny that they include additional switches, but they're cherries, so that you can kind of like try them out to see if you want to switch to a more a switch that has more resistance.
Yeah,
right? Just to kind of sample. Hey, maybe I want to switch out the switches on this keyboard at some point. Maybe green.
There are some people that I know that will have like their WASD as like a different switch than the rest of their keyboard. Right. Or even like that whole kind of section, like the WASD, then 1 through 4 or whatever it may be. They may switch out those for a different switch that they feels better and gives them more of an advantage in a game, if it's quicker or gives them the feel that they like. So, but yeah, you really like this. I wasn't sure like when. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to touch on with this. Scroll down to my pros and cons real quick. Yeah, so the aluminum top plate was kind of difficult to remove. It has a small USB Type-C opening. Not that it's that crazy, but if you are going to use a custom cable with this, it may not fit into that opening. Cooler Master has some custom cables that obviously are going to fit with this, but you're kind of maybe stuck to their product list there. And then yeah, it came with a rubber cable, but past that, it's pretty awesome. It's a nice build quality, sounds great. The silicone dampening pads, like I said, make this thing sound amazing.
And it's $100, just $99.99.
Yeah, and that's in my configuration. So there's another configuration I think that had reds that was about $10 or $20 cheaper right now.
Oh wow! I think maybe that's why you didn't get the braided cable, right?
Some of that cost savings. Yeah, I was really surprised that this is only $100 keyboard.
Yeah,
I would have it wouldn't have surprised me if this was $130. Now, if it would have been $130 and they didn't give that braided cable, that would have been like another piece where it's like,
this pricing sort of reminds me of like your standard gaming keyboard, right? That and this is like you would think that this is what this would be, but it's not just your standard gaming keyboard because you are getting double shot PBT keycaps, which is night and day compared to ABS. You're also getting that padding that they added in there, which is sort of like a more like a mechanical keyboard enthusiast style type of thing. It's not something that you typically see, so you get that there as well. And like I said, they did have it on the CK721, but the ability to remove that aluminum top plate, so you could either swap it out if they ever do offer other ones, or mod it yourself or paint it or whatever you wanted to do with it, which I think is pretty cool. So for only $100, I would say this is like definitely like not a must buy, but it is a buy if you were looking for this type of keyboard. And this is one that definitely caught your eye, I would say.
An old man said you could tell difference in the keys because for some reason the light doesn't come through on the caps lock key. It does. It's just it's only, and this is kind of odd because it's the caps lock key only lights up when you have caps lock on, even though there's like, let's see here.
Don't spill your water again.
I just about did. Okay, so here's caps lock, and you may not be able to tell. You can tell it's not lit up.
Yeah.
But if I hit it, it lights up, and now there's also this indicator that comes.
That's
on.
weird.
So it's kind of odd that that's how they did it, but
yeah.
Anyhow,
did you ruin anything on your desk, by the way?
No, I got my mouse wet, the side of my mouse wet, but thankfully it was just the side, and the water stayed like on top of my mouse mat. It's a little wet. It didn't soak all the way into it. So, and thankfully the edge of my mouse mat like kept the water on the table. So no, but this was a full oversized can that tipped over. Except I literally just put my foot in something wet down there. So
Ryan's just having issues here. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and move on from reviews to Case Mod Friday. And Ryan actually pointed this build out to me this week.
Yeah. And I didn't realize he'd actually done a build in this case previously. I don't think we showed it. But I like this one better than he did a black version and a white version. The white version is the most recent one.
So this is from Stuart, our friend over at GGF. And this is the Fantex NV7 build, which of course we covered this case at CES.
Yeah, it's my favorite case of CES.
Yeah.
And he did it good.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm going to love this build because of the frosted tubing on here.
But like his build video on this thing, if you've never watched one of his videos, you're missing out. So definitely check out the build video.
The build video is in the article if you want to check it out.
But just like his color matching with his lighting and fluid color is amazing. Just the components in this thing, everything about this build is awesome.
I really like these. So you have like the chrome, but he has the white fitting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those new Fantex fans are awesome. We saw them at CES. They have the blades where you can swap out the blade, so that they are all spinning in the same direction, but they can be push or pull depending on which blades you put on. And then the way they link together is in between the fan bodies. There's these little clips that not only hold the fans together, but they support the connectivity between them. And then you have these little caps that cover up like the screw holes. So you don't see any screw heads on these. Just really clean designed fans.
Yeah, so like you don't see the screws there, which is really, really cool.
And I think they are a 25? No, are those the 30 millimeter thick fans, I believe?
They look like the 30. Yeah, they look thick. They do offer them in two different sizes, I believe, too. But I mean, talking about thick, I mean these radiators.
Those radiators
are really, really thick. You have the mid plate right here with all the different connections for the cooling.
Yep.
Like Ryan said, the color matching on this is excellent as far as the fluid with the RGB lighting. Of course, white is going to go really well with the silver, and of course the white of the case. I mean, this thing is just, that look nice sit on my desk, I think.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, so this is, and it is really cool. Like with the Fantex case, you can have the radiator at
flat,
at an angle if you really wanted to, which I think is super cool there.
Yeah, Old Man was looking at that case. He says he loves it, but it's sold out on Amazon. It is an enormous case, though. Like that is one thing to keep in mind. It's huge. To me, it almost doesn't look as big in that picture because that top section is filled up with two sets of fans and a thick radiator. If you don't put a radiator up there and just have like a set of fans, there's a really large space between the top of the motherboard and the top of the case.
And this whole section right here that he's filled with this mid plate, like that is going to be empty as well.
420 millimeter fans on that side there.
So it is a really, really, really big case.
Yep.
So, but yeah, this build's excellent from Stuart. So definitely check it out. We have everything. We have his website linked, and of course the videos in there as well if you want to check that out there as well. So really cool stuff there, and we will move on to news. So I would say the biggest story in the tech sphere over the past couple weeks is apparently if you got a 7000 series X3D part, some of them were blowing up.
Yeah,
And
no good.
pretty, some of them were, it was just the CPU that was getting broken. It was some of them, it was both the CPU and motherboard. They were catching on fire, basically. I mean, it was pretty bad for AMD. And I'm not going to try to explain everything that was going on. I think Gamers Nexus has 2 videos on this subject, and we have them linked in the article that I'm going to talk about. If you want to check that out, they're like 30-minute videos that they go into detail about everything that was going on. Long story short, basically, if you enabled so on your chip, the 5000 X3D, you can't overclock that, right?
You cannot directly overclock that. Correct. You can adjust stuff with Curve Optimizer, and it will allow it to boost higher, but you can't just like normally overclock.
Yeah. So I believe with this, you could, like AMD, you could overclock it if you wanted to. Also, if you enabled AMD EXPO, which is basically like XMP for memory, it would essentially overclock the CPU to give you the speed that you would want on your memory as well. So you had those two things going on. And basically what happened was it would push a lot of voltage through the SoC, and that was causing these chips to blow up, basically. And what happened was, obviously, all of AMD, as well as all the board manufacturers, they were kind of scrambling. AMD put out a firmware update for the CPUs. There were a bunch of new BIOSes came out, but the thing that kind of happened was that ASUS put out like a BIOS fix, or supposed BIOS fix. And the new BIOS that they put out that was on their website, they said it was a beta BIOS. And basically, if anything happened to your parts when using this BIOS, it would void, it would void your warranty, which to me seems weird that you would put that out anyways. Like, why would you put it out?
Right.
If somebody, if all the, like, this was obviously gaining a lot. If I'm somebody who has a 7000 X3D part and you hear that they're blowing up, you have to update your BIOS. You're going to update your BIOS. Like, if your motherboard manufacturer puts out a BIOS on their website, you shouldn't have to worry about it voiding your warranty. Right. So ASUS put out this thing. It's it said like you void all, they're not responsible for anything that happens with this BIOS, which is really weird. Like,
it's like, what do you know that
what? So what's like,
if you know it's bad, why?
as the customer, you're like, okay, should I not download this BIOS and my CPU possibly break, or so that was kind of like the really big thing. And then obviously ASUS, and AMD were like, don't turn on Expo. Well, if you don't turn on Expo, that's like a big performance hit, and Gamers Nexus went over that in their video as well. And since all this back and forth, and like I said, Gamers Nexus put out videos. You said J2 Sense put out a video about ASUS kind of being kind of crappy behind the scenes. I haven't watched.
He dropped them. He's not gonna use their products in any.
Yeah, and there's like stuff. Like the main ASUS, not their actual page, but there's like an ASUS group, Facebook group. It's run by ASUS, but it's like the ASUS Facebook. Like, there was people in, like, because I'm in that group. I mean, there was people in there like freaking out. I didn't really read into it all that much. I did watch both Gamers Nexus videos, and it does seem like there was some shady stuff, or like things were just rushed. Like, we're going to put this BIOS out because we don't know what to do, and we have to put this disclaimer on it. But it's like, it's just not good for the consumer at the end of the day, I think. And now ASUS has put out that they will cover Expo and Intel XMP memory overclocking in their warranty. But I think for a lot of people, and again, I wasn't following this all that much. Like I said, I watched the Gamers Nexus stuff, but from what I've seen, at least on like Facebook and Twitter, and there were a lot of people, and like you said, Jay's 2 cents put out his video. There are a lot of people very upset, and a lot of people like Asus was like their brand, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Gigabyte or ASRock or MSI now. A lot of people, I mean, I even saw videos of people taking an Asus board and like like throwing it off their balcony. Like I know it's just like for clicks or whatever, but it was like that type of outrage. So I mean, this right here is should like, you know, them covering everything should have been what they did initially.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jay was also upset because he had some quality control issues with like getting some replacement motherboards,
Yeah.
you know, that looked like they were used and had like bent pins on the socket, and then shipping it back and saying, hey, get me a new one. And they'd ship him one and it had issues. And then they shipped him one of the wrong color. He's just like, yeah, I'm done with you guys. You're
Yeah, I think this happens, and this happens with all types of businesses where, and again, I don't know if this is the case because Asus has been very big for a very long time.
right.
But as these companies get bigger and maybe people who have worked at the company kind of move on to different positions, certain things are kind of let slide a little bit. And again, we see this not just in the tech sphere, we see it all types of businesses. This happens where it's just, you know, not the same type of thing.
I think like you build that quality that's like puts you above your competitors, right? And everybody's focused on beating your competitors or becoming the best. And so everybody that's there at that time is involved and like feels like they're part of that improvement and that team. And yes, once you start losing those people, right, they move on to bigger, better roles, either within the company or outside. And you bring other people in that weren't necessarily there and maybe don't have that pride that the other people did, building that brand. That's when you can kind of like start losing some of that.
And the thing is
and quality
too is like, you know, when Ace, I mean, we've been working with Asus for a very long time, and like certain people had multiple roles and they really cared about certain things. And like when that one person's role gets split to 5 or 6 different people, it's not going to be the same as that one person that you knew who kind of did everything. I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But yeah, I mean, this is not like a good PR thing for Asus. Especially with like the ROG Ally coming out being like their new kind of thing. A lot of people might, you know, I don't know if those two worlds kind of coincide, like the motherboard people with, you know, a portable console, but I think Asus is going to be one of those things where it's going to take a while for maybe a couple generations of parts for people who are so upset with this, they're going to be like, yeah, like my next upgrade, I'm going, you know, to somebody else.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, it's good to see them kind of return course, but I mean, they had to support like the overclocking, you know, in their warranties and all of that. I mean, they had to. There was no saying, oh yeah, like you void your warranty. Like
it's like signing a waiver at the water park. They're like, yeah, we'll let you ride this water slide, but we're not responsible if you get hurt or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So old man in the chat, he said, I've seen reviewers say over the years Asus was doing funny things in the BIOS. The Asus's BIOS is probably the best, but the thing is that at least in my experience with Asus BIOSes is like they give you every option of everything possible for the most part. And when you do that, certain things can get changed, or, you know, they're like one of the only motherboard, I think they're the only manufacturer when, like, say you get a new BIOS on the Intel side, if Intel pushes like an update for their processors, you have to, in the Asus BIOS, you have to update the processor in the BIOS separately. Whereas it all goes together. In every other BIOS, you just simply update the BIOS and that updates the
it's included. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird. So yeah, you know, we'll see what happens. But if you want to know more, I don't want to dig too deep on this because I haven't. I mean, like I said, I watched both Gamers Nexus videos, and I think if you're interested in this or want to know more, I think Steve did a great job going over what was happening and how they tested things, and and all of that in their videos. And we have that linked here in the article. You just click on it and it will bring up their video. And like I said, the videos are like a half an hour long. So definitely a lot of information in there for you to digest and kind of see what's going on. It seems to be like all kind of squared away now, but the damage to ASUS was definitely done, I would say, in this case. So we'll see kind of what the response from the community is at going forward, right? Are people going to choose another brand? Are they going to be still mad? A lot of damage control going on for sure. So moving to CPU stuff, we do have some rumors about Ryzen 8000 series, which will be based on Zen 5. It looks like, and this is no surprise, I don't think, and I wanted your opinion on this, it's going to feature up to 16 Zen 5 cores. Like, do you think on a consumer level, are we going to go past 16 cores?
So 16 core, 32 thread?
Yeah.
Is that accurate? On consumer? Maybe, I don't know. Not yet, maybe. Like, I look at my CPU and yeah, I mean, they're all doing something, but I'm never pegging out like all my cores. You know what I mean? Like, we're still not, in most instances, right? There's definitely those applications that are going to take as many cores as they can get. But for like standard consumer use, I mean, 16 feels pretty good for a while. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, you'll never need more than 16. But at the same time, we made a big jump when Ryzen came out, right? From like dual core, 4 thread, maybe 4 core, 8 thread. We jumped, 8 and 16. We doubled, and then we've gotten larger. But I feel like 16's quite a lot. Like, what else are you doing with these cores and threads?
Yeah, I'm running 16 cores. I don't. Yeah, and 170 watt TDP, which is, I believe, aren't the highest ones now 165. I could be wrong on that number. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it getting any bigger on the consumer side. Obviously, you're going to have the Threadrippers and the higher end Intel parts, and if you're doing stuff, obviously you're not running a consumer platform, right? So yeah, I'm not really surprised at that at all. I think at least probably until we get to like the next generation, we'll see something kind of bigger than that. And there's not, like I said, I mean, beyond like video editing and stuff, it's, at least on the consumer side, there are not a whole lot of applications that are highly optimized, highly threaded to really, really take advantage of that. Old man in the chat says, I might wait until Ryzen 9000 just to say it's over 9000. Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be good. All right. So talking about ASUS and the ROG Ally, somebody tested it as an emulation machine, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And it is breezing through everything. So it's playing like PS3, God of Wars. People, this is God of War on there.
And what's crazy is I saw PS3 in this article, and I still have my PS3, and I think back to the days when I played it and used it a lot, like how big it is and like how loud it could get sometimes, just playing these games that still look pretty decent, right? Like now this thing just like a little bigger than a phone, carry it around, can just play them with ease. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been verified it supports PlayStation 3, Nintendo Switch, Xbox 360, 3DS, PSP, GameCube, PS2, and Wii U, all on this, which is just, I mean, this is going to be like
what? No Dreamcast.
I love me some Dreamcast.
But yeah, this is pretty awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's super cool. It obviously a lot of these older, it's like what you kind of grew up playing, and that you can kind of bring it back to, again, something that's in your hand. But I think this is like the new standard in mobile gaming, right? It's the most powerful. And yeah, I mean, there's going to be someone, I mean, this is just the start, right? This is the first kind of, besides it just running, normal Steam games.
I mean, I'd call the Steam Deck the first.
Oh yeah, yeah. what I
But
mean
I mean,
is
I think
is
this
the
is
first.
another. Go ahead.
What I mean is this is the first kind of like this isn't even a hack yet, but I'm saying there's going to be a lot. This is like the first article that's like non-normal PC games that are running on it. What I'm saying is you're going to see so much more being done with this device than just gaming. Like there's going to be so much stuff on it. That's what I meant by the first.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just, man, that's cool. Yeah, like throw some old games on there.
If I had a use for it, yeah, I'd be in line for it. Especially with that pricing. I think we talked about that last week, right? The official pricing on it, and just like how much more affordable this is than I expected it to be.
Yeah. So there we have a video in the article if you want to see all these different games being played on it, different emulators. But yeah, really cool. Definitely like I've been saying for like weeks now, if I had a use for it, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
Also Asus, they did announce their first liquid cooled RTX 4090. It is liquid cooled in the sense that it includes a AIO. It's part of their Strix LC. Yeah, I've really never been a fan of these type of cards.
No, I haven't either. I've never had one, so I mean I can't comment on like if
I
I would
guess
like it or not. I've just never been a fan of it.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. I mean, like I said, and again, like you assume the person buying this is also using an AIO for their
right.
So it just kind of gets.
I would think so. Yeah.
It just kind of gets jumbled up in there in your system, right?
Yeah. At that point, just do a custom loop. Come on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's like I said, it's the ROG Strix LC. If you're interested in that, it's not going to be cheap. I don't know if
unless you've got this thing like in an external GPU enclosure, right, that can support it. Which
but then where would the
I don't even know if there are. Right, where's that even going? So
yeah, I don't think that would work. But yeah, that is available now. What else do we have here? Our friends over at Drop, they are going to be offering their Holy Panda X. Did you test the Holy Panda X switches on that keyboard that you have from Drop?
They are Holy Panda. Were they X's? I can't remember now. I feel like I know they're Holy Pandas. I don't know.
Yeah. So these are hand lubed, not factory lubed. So somebody's actually doing these by hand. You can see like these are being hand lubed, that you can go ahead and buy.
They were X's in that keyboard.
So yeah, pretty cool that you can get like hand loop switches, so you don't have to do it yourself if you're buying these switch packs. I was a fan of these switches. I don't know what you thought about them, but I was definitely a fan of these.
Yeah, they were fine.
But yeah, you can pick them up, like I said, hand loop switches from Drop, which I think is definitely cool. I don't know if they have oh wait, do I have the price in there? No, let's see. $39 for 35. And you can get them in 3 and 5 pin configurations, depending on what board you're going to use with these. So yeah, pretty cool stuff there as well. And let me close that. This is something you might like, Ryan.
I do. I saw this, and I'm glad you included it in here.
Okay. Well, Dan Cases unveiled their Dan C4 SFX case. It's the 17th now, so it's already available. This is a very small. Did it say how many liters this is? 14 liter.
Yeah, it supports up to a 280 millimeter radiator on this thing.
You can see
4090 will fit in here.
Certain 4090s.
Okay, yes, certain 4090s.
They do have a list of 4090s that will fit. But yeah, I mean, here's like a configuration that you would be running an AIO for your CPU, and then here's the configuration with the NHD 15 from Noctua, which is like the biggest CPU cooler out there that will still fit in here, which is pretty impressive as well. Graphics card goes up top, but this is small, very, very small case. Dan Cases has been pretty popular in the small case kind of realm. That's kind of their thing. So, and then you can see the opposite
this thing's
side.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So, Did they have price on
I still think it's
those?
smaller than what I would want though. I want a smaller build, but I feel like that's just smaller than I want to go.
I think in that small, you run into heat issues. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless, I mean, you're water cooling too, so like, I just feel like you run into heat issues. I don't know. I mean, I know that this is like, I just feel like if you're doing something pretty hardcore, like my 49-inch monitor full screen with like Cyberpunk, is this GPU is going to be really hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The size I have now, which I think you should consider, is like that. That's the good size because you still can do a full motherboard, but it's not big like the case that you have, or even the previous case that I have, which was even bigger than this. I like, I do, and again, it's a showpiece case too, so you can still do, like, if you wanted to do, your water cooling or whatever, you could do it in a case like that.
Well, I'm still throwing around that I have that idea of the designing my own case, and I need to get back on that website and tweak it some more.
Yeah, so check that out if you're into very, very small cases. What else do we have? So Amazon introduced 4 new Echo devices. Ryan and I both use Amazon devices. We'll go through them quickly. A new Echo Pop, which, like, I assume that's replacing the
dots.
Yeah, the dots.
Maybe.
So it's like a half sphere, $39.99. Redesigned Echo Show 5, which is the one that has the screen. They've upgraded it and they have better bass and things like that. There's an Echo Show 5 Kids. I don't necessarily know the difference.
It has like a space themed like speaker backing and everything.
Yeah,
but I think it's like $10 more, isn't it?
Yeah, but it includes like
it has some additional like
2-year worry-free
warranty.
Yeah. So like in 1 year of Amazon Kids Plus. Yeah. Now here's the ones that I think will sell is the Echo Buds. So a set of earbuds, obviously to sort of compete against AirPods. $49.99. If you go on Amazon right now, they're $39.99 as an introductory price, which I don't know how these sound, but they're $39.99 on Amazon right now. Rechargeable case, kind of, like I said, they're going to be a lower cost competitor to AirBuds or AirPods from Apple, I would say. Those are the new things. So that I think this is the one. This is going to be these are going to be the ones that sell, I think, just because nobody wants to pay for AirPods that are very expensive.
No, I'm sure these are pretty nice.
Yeah, I think they'll sound good. They're not going to have like the location features and some of the other stuff probably that AirPods have. But again, not everybody wants to pay for AirPods. So I think, and again, it's an Amazon product being sold on Amazon. It's going to do well. So those are the new Amazon products. And this was interesting. Microsoft is now putting ads in the Windows that you hate, Windows 11. So if you go to your settings page, they have ads for like Microsoft 365. Somebody had said that there's also one for like the Xbox Game Pass, and again, it seems like currently they're only limited to Microsoft related products, right?
Okay, that's good.
But that you would think that would be what they are. But yeah, we'll have to see. But it's
like if that's the thing is like if you're paying for these products, like I don't want ads also,
I really hated when they added that. And I think it's in Windows 10 as well. They added the little like things to the search bar. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I gotta take that thing off. I gotta take that off. So yeah, that's annoying as well. Just a little thing on the search bar that's like it changes every day or whatever to try to sell you something so that's gonna be kind of rolled out in Windows 11. This is really cool too. So Steam is letting you try certain games for 90 minutes, and it's the full game. So a lot of times when you get like a trial of a game or whatever, not like the not like Fortnite or some of those other games will have like a free weekend. It's like a battle royale style game. You get like a free weekend because there's no real game, but like games that actually have a story and stuff. When it's like a demo, it's like the first level or whatever.
Or even that, yeah.
Yeah, this is a 90-minute trial of the entire game, and then at the end of
run it.
yeah, you could speed run it. And at the end of the trial, you have the option to either buy it or uninstall it. I think this is cool. It gives people the, just check it out. So this is for Dead Space. So if you wanted to check it out before you bought it to see if you even like it, sometimes you just buy something and then like you play it once and you never play it again. This would solve that problem so that you wouldn't spend the $47.99.
Yeah, you can always go back to it, right, and purchase it. You're like, oh, I liked my hour and a half with this.
Yeah, well, I think that's the best thing.
Maybe I want to finish it. Yeah,
it really gives you a more sense of the game rather than like a level or whatever. So yeah, so that is available, of course, on Steam if you wanted to give it a try. Maybe you have, an hour and a half to kill, and you can play a brand new game without having to buy it, which is nice. And then there was some leaks, more Grand Theft Auto 6 stuff. We've been talking about it over the past couple years. Rumor budget $1 to $2 billion. I mean, they have. It's like the biggest game to follow up. I don't think there's another game. We talk about Half-Life, but again, I think this is even bigger than that. That like you have to
live up to,
because I think Half-Life is more niche in like, especially like more PC.
Sure.
Whereas Grand Theft Auto is like everybody plays it, and there's like the RP servers now, which are like super popular. You know what I mean? So I think that like they have to make it the best game ever, and a game that's going to last a long time because people are still playing Grand Theft Auto 5 now.
Right. Yeah, you've got to get 10 to 15 years out of this thing. So you got to fill it full of content and things to do, and not just the same thing again. But it's going to be in Vice City, right? So I didn't play any of Vice City.
I did.
Did you play it? You did?
Yeah.
No. I played a bit of, let's see here, GTA 4.
Okay.
And 5. I never made it through either one of them. It's again, it's like I spent more than an hour and a half with them, but I never finished them.
Yeah, no, they were fun to play, and like I mean, that's what we used to use GTA 5 for benchmarking and stuff. So, but no, the game was fun to play in my opinion, obviously. But yeah, if it does cost that much, it would be the most expensive game ever made.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I wonder what's like next closest. Maybe Shinny knows. Or if Star Citizen is anywhere close, right? They've been taking donations like forever, and that game, I don't know if it's ever gonna come out all the way.
Yeah, the more we hear about this game, I do get excited. I think,
but even those early videos looked good,
Yeah, and there's so much hype around it too, because like again, it's transcended just just console and PC, and then there's all like again like the RP servers and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, dang, it'll be exciting to once we get like a release date and see like a promo video. I'll be super pumped whenever that happens. I don't think it's coming out till at least what are we in 23? I'd say 26. Come out 26.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, man. You gotta put that. You gotta put that $1 to $2 billion to work. Get some stuff going.
Yeah,
I would think like end of 25. So like holiday 25.
And GTA 5 is still make some money, right? Like it's still bringing in the cash.
Yeah. So we shall see. Talk about what we have coming up next week. We'll be doing some gaming on it. I'll be taking a look at the Yin. I don't know how to say it really. This is the new company. We actually talked with them a bit at CES, and their headquarters.
Is this the one that's just okay?
Yeah, their headquarters is like literally down the street from me, in San Diego. So they have their Sigurd. Is that how you would say that?
Sigurd, I don't know.
Sigurd 4000. which is a 34-inch ultra wide 2K 165 hertz monitor, and
Nice.
it's definitely affordable too. It's currently, I'm pretty sure you can buy it on Amazon as well. But yeah, I'll be taking a look at that. I haven't done a monitor review in a while, so it'll be kind of fun to sit down and play some games and do all the tests and all that kind of stuff. So I will have that for you guys next week. And then following week, we have some really cool stuff I can't tell you about, but following weeks, there'll be some really cool products coming out. So yeah, that is it for all of that. As we come to the end here, we usually talk about if we did anything tech related over the past week, anything on your end,
last week
Ryan?
flew by for me, so I was busy
same.
all weekend. So no, I shot some stuff on my GoPro that I haven't even pulled off of it yet. I always call it a GoPro, even though it's a DJI camera.
I think a lot of people do because that's like what you call it.
Yeah.
So what did you shoot? Anything fun?
Comic book hunting. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Did you use that the mic system that you bought?
I didn't, because I'm not going to play. I don't plan to use any of the audio from it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't plan to use any audio. So
gotcha. Yeah.
I had it on my chest. So
yeah,
chest. One of those weirdos. Yeah.
Well, no, you used that on your other video too. You had it on your chest. The video for the storage unit.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yep. For a little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I used a bunch of my cameras. I shot. Did we talk about that last week?
Your camera,
my vlogs that I made.
I think so. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but I used my GoPro and all that kind of stuff as well. But beyond that, I haven't really, like I said, I've just been working on a bunch of stuff. Free mystery game tomorrow on Epic. It's rumored to be Death Stranding or another AAA title.
I hope it's awesome. Death Stranding, because that's one that I was always interested in, and I always forget about it. But then I see it, and I'm like, oh, it just looked, and I don't think it lived up to its hype, unfortunately. Yeah. But I kept watching those like preview videos and little leaked pieces. I was like, God, this looks so cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you just see all the memes of like, it's just a guy running around with a big backpack on and a baby, and I don't know.
I haven't.
But if it's free, I'll at least add it to my library.
I haven't got really excited about a game in a while. I was kind of pumped for like the new Star Wars, but I just knew I wouldn't have time to play it. And then all the issues that had at launch.
Yeah.
So, but GTA 6, I'll be excited for. I think that will be the game. We'll do a GTA 6 stream or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Or something along those lines. Talking about the stream, we will be streaming after this, playing some Apex Legends. I actually played without you, Ryan. I got a win with this big chunky mouse that I was testing.
Shinny and I were talking about that today. We were like, oh, I almost played this weekend, and we didn't. But because I think we have two games left in our ranked matchmaking. But you may have already gotten done with it.
I don't think I play ranked though. I just played regular. So. But yeah, we'll be over on Twitch. Of course, some of you might be on Twitch already. That's going to go ahead and just go down for a second and come right back up. But for everybody else who's on YouTube or Facebook, twitch.tv/ThinkComputers, we will be over there hanging out, playing some Apex. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ryan will get all mad, and I'm going to laugh at him again.
I might.
So yeah, and then real quick, Old Man said Humble Bundle has a great May multiplayer madness bundle for $12. It includes Borderlands 3 Super Deluxe Edition with all the DLC and 6 other games. Oh, that's cool.
$12 seems pretty good.
Yeah, $12. Those bundles are always, for the most part, really good. I bought a bunch before. I think I bought a bunch to give away. Maybe I'll just buy that to give away to somebody in our Discord or something.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I mean, I'll buy a couple. Give them away to people in the Discord. So, but yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Like I said, Ryan will have that stream up over on Twitch. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Of course, we had Old Man and Shinny in the live chats, and we will see everybody next week.